Hello everyone, welcome back to my Flosstube. I'm Emma. I use the pronouns Em or Emma, and my channel is Emma Rose Makes, which hopefully you know since you're here. We're back. I've lost track of counting. Maybe I'll just stop counting. It doesn't really matter, does it? I don't know. I'll see how I feel when I upload it, and maybe I'll just get rid of the numbers and just choose some other way of counting, or not counting, how we're going on. I have a few things to get through in this one, and let's just dive straight in. So since I last saw you, I've been to the knitting and stitching show. If you follow me on Instagram, where I am emma.rose.makes, I kind of, I want to say vlogged, but it wasn't a vlog. I put on my Instagram stories like what I was doing while I was there. So the knitting and stitching show, if you're not in the UK or you're just unaware, is like a big convention of stitching at Alexandra Palace, which is a large venue in North London. It's a really big palace. It's not a palace. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but it's not a palace. I think it used to be a radio station. I could be wrong. Anyway, it's very pretty. It's like big glass domes and buildings and like the roofs. It's beautiful. Like if you Google it, you'll see it's very, very pretty. And it's got massive, massive rooms, which is why they use it for conventions now. And for like music festivals, and there's an ice rink up there at Christmas. And anyway, it's nice. And so I went up there on the Thursday, which was the first day that it was open. And I had booked, so the way that it works, and I've been before, but it was slightly different. I'm getting confused with a different convention, that's why. The way that this one works is that you can pre-book before you get there certain workshops to do on the day. So on the day there is an entire separate, from like slightly like in a different room, like different like 6 or 7 different workshop spaces where they have tutors running workshops all day. So you can sign up before you arrive to say I want to go to like these workshops and plan your day based around it. And then when you're not at workshops, you can go into the convention centre where there are art displays of different textile art. You're going to be a pest, aren't you, dog? That's the dog if you can hear him. Different, art displays from different textile artists. There are people selling every craft supply you could ever imagine. And then there are indie designers, indie artists selling their work. So like kits that they've made, their own books, exhibiting their work. So it's a whole mishmash of different things, and like all of the sewing machine companies that they're exhibiting, so you can try the machines and see if you want one. So it's a really good place to go and kind of get a sense of what's happening and do some workshops. So I went to 3 different workshops. I went to a natural dyeing workshop, so you learning how to use like plant matter, barks, berries, to dye fabrics and threads. I went to a free motion embroidery workshop using scraps, cut-offs from fabrics to turn them into something rather than just like binning them. And I went to a goldwork embroidery workshop. So I'll talk you through those first, since they're kind of new and exciting, and I'm excited by them. So we'll start with natural dyeing, since that is the first one that I did. So she provided us on the day. So we didn't actually do any dyeing on the day because you have to apply water and heat, and it was just like not the right time to do it. So what we did was we made up a jam jar with our cloth, yarns, and dye ingredients in it. So she gave 3 possible different ingredients. So there was onion skin, golden root, and the one that I didn't use, which we'll disregard because I didn't use it. But anyway. And so she gave a piece of cotton fabric, a piece of silk fabric, a piece of wool yarn, a piece of cotton thread, like 6-strand thread. It wasn't DMC, it was a different brand. And the idea was that you put your fabrics out, you put your dye ingredients on them, you scrunch them up, you stick them in your jar, you put your threads in on top, and when you get home you add water. When you put them on heat, you put that in like there's a word for it, where you put the jar in the middle, then you put the water around it, and then you slowly heat up the water, and the water around heats up the jar. Can't remember the word. Bain-marie. That's the cooking term. And that's how we did it. But you have to, if you're going to do it, you can do it, just try different things. Make sure that you put cold water in the pan and heat it up slowly if you're putting a glass jar in. Because if you put a glass jar into hot water straight away, it will just crack. So yeah, cold water first. So, this is what my combination of golden rod, which is kind of like fluffy things, and onion skin made, which this is the silk piece. It came out kind of, it was white to start with, so it came out kind of like this goldeny orange colour. And I would say that's very similar to the colour that the wool yarn came out. And I'm not surprised by that, because the woman who did this workshop did say that the animal fibres, so wool and silk, do take up dye much better than the plant fibres. So anything like cotton, linen, they're made from plants, they'll take up dye less well than wool fibres. Animal fibres, not wool fibres. So anyway, I love this colour. I don't know if I'll be able to do anything with this because it's very small and I'm not really working with wool at the moment, but it's very pretty. And then the cotton thread didn't take up any colour at all, so it got all tangled with the goldenrod, so I think I'm just going to throw it away. But that is the cotton fabric. So it's come out this kind of beautiful mustardy yellow colour, quite pale. And what I'll probably do is use it in some of my embroidery projects. So yeah, all in all, a success. Then I did the machine embroidery with scraps, and to do this you need some of this. Now, this terrifying thing is, you can see that it's like clear plasticky. It's Water-Soluble Stabilizer. So you put it on top and you stitch through it, and then when you're done, you put the piece in water and it just melts away. I guess it's made from starch, maybe. It's really cool. So this is the first piece I made, and because I had to put them in my bag when they were still wet, the colour has transferred from one to the other, so you can see that the white fabric has gone a bit pink at the top, but I'm still quite pleased with this. So yeah, so what you do is you put all your scraps on the fabrics. These are all scraps of fabric, and then you put the stabilizer on top, and then you stitch over them until they're all on, and make whatever pattern you want, and then you use the stabilizer. And then I made this one using 2 stabilizer on either side, stitching through it, and then I embroidered some flowers on top. They're not super obvious because there was a limited supply of different coloured threads and different coloured scraps, so it's not super obvious, but yeah. These are techniques that I'm quite intrigued by, that I'm carrying through into my own personal embroidery work, which I will try and find and show you in a sec. Then I did a goldwork glass, and I made this tiny hedgehog, which is super cute and I'm really pleased with. But yeah, they're all great and I'm really happy with them. So when I said I was taking those techniques and making some kind of into my personal work, so this is a combination of 2 techniques that I've learned from different embroidery artists over the years. So apologies, it is currently in progress. So as you can see, I've got the stabilizer on it at the moment. So what I've done is I've used fabrics to create a background. You can see it goes from the sky into this green, and then there's a kind of a purpley fabric bottom here, and it's on batting, and then there's I've just got some white backing fabric, and that's a technique that I learned at a previous little workshop. And then what I've done is I've placed some Water-Soluble Stabilizer and some scraps of fabric over the top, and when my machine has been serviced and I can actually do free motion embroidery, because I don't know if you'll be able to see, but at the moment it's not going to focus, but at the moment it's skipping stitches. It's giving these really long stitches, which is not what I want. So yeah, once it's been fixed and I can do free motion embroidery with my machine, I'll embroider onto this and then I'll wet it to get rid of this stabilizer. And then what I plan to do is I plan to put in some actual embroidery of using French knots and bullion stitches to make it look like there's heather here. This is all supposed to look like heather, a bit abstracty. And then I'll put in an applique bit of grey up here to be rock. And then I probably will, I don't know if I'll leave the sky or if I'll put in some embroidery up here to make clouds. But this is meant to be a kind of landscape inspired by the place that I grew up in Yorkshire, the Yorkshire Moors. So this is a first attempt. I will probably do a couple more, just you know, to practice the techniques, to perfect them. But yeah, so that's where I've taken it into my own practice. So yeah, that's something that I can do. Over there, with the Water-Soluble Stabilizer, obviously you have to be really careful if you're drinking, or I don't know if you talk very emphatically, you don't get water on it, because it will melt away. So yeah, just being very careful with where I keep that while I'm not actively working on it. The other thing is that I picked up from Knitting and Stitching Show. This is my Linladan egg warmer. I won't be using it to warm eggs, but I just absolutely loved it. So it's a chicken. It's so good. So there's two on here. You can see. The idea is that you stitch both of them, and then they sew together to make a little sort of chicken-shaped basket. And so this is linen fabric. It's quite an open weave. I would say it's probably nearer to 20 count than anything else. But obviously it's not designed to be a cross-stitch fabric. It's not even. And then these are actually linen threads, and they are so nice to embroider with. They're thicker than anything I've used before. I guess they're pretty comparable to working with an entire pull of DMC without separating it. But they're really nice. They go through really smoothly. They give a really nice texture, and the colour is fantastic. And they just feel really nice. I think they'll wear really well too. And so that's one side, and you can see just slightly more of the head on this side. The instructions are they're mostly in Swedish. They've been translated, but I mean, they've been kind of translated. You can see pictures on the website of what it's supposed to look like, which you can kind of interpret it from. And it doesn't really matter. So you can kind of like take what you think it's supposed to be and make it look right. But I would say if you're not if you've not come across embroidery stitches before, I would say go with go with a different company first, and then do one of these if you love them, or if you absolutely love them. If you're like, I really want an egg warmer, I've seen it, I love it, I want it, go for it, but be aware that you're going to need to look up the stitches and maybe look at the reference drawing. Or, message me. I'm happy to chat about it. I absolutely love it. I think it's so cute. But yeah, I'm happy to share my interpretation of what these stitches are and what I've done. But yeah, the instructions are not, I would say, not 100% beginner friendly. But it's brilliant. I love it. That's that one. So we'll pop Knitting and Stitching Show aside for the moment, and we'll go back to what I've actually been working on. So I went back to the new normal, which I'm sure many of you will be very happy to hear. And I actually finished the spool. I've wound something else onto it now, but you can see I've finished it. So now I'm kind of scuppered until the new one that I've ordered arrived. I hear those of you who are saying, why didn't you order a second one at the time. And yes, I am slightly worried that when it arrives it will be a slightly different colour. However, I've already stitched 30,000 stitches and I'm not taking them out if it's a slightly different colour. I will just put it in and live with it. No one apart from me will ever know. So here's where we are. I can't even hold it anymore, it's too big. So this is the side that's rolling, so I'm just fan him out. It will not be, you won't let me show you all of it. There we go, kind of see. Look at the glory! So what I've been working on, do my old trick of folding it, maybe, so I can show you. So what I've been working on is this section here. So this startled cat, love the startled cat, this half cat here, and then down into the lion. And the idea was that in October I would finish, up to where basically this line is here, would be done. So I'm pretty much there. Aside from the bits that I need to do once the new thread arrives, I'm pretty much on track. So I'm really happy with that. And there is not a lot left to do. 8,000 stitches left over in this bit and down there in the Hares. And the only reason that I haven't done this bit here is because this is where the date sits. And I don't want to jinx it by putting 2021 in. I was all gung-ho in like July. And I was like, oh, I'll just put the date in. And Chris was like, what if you don't finish it? So then Chris unnerved me and I didn't put the date in. So that's where we are. This is a Zweigart 32 count Belfast Merino. It's absolutely gorgeous. If you are considering working with a Merino, I would say go for it. I love it. I think it's beautiful. And the burgundy is a gorgeous colour, so no regrets for me on my choices there. Let me just re-roll it, otherwise I'll be here for ages afterwards, tidying away, and whilst I could, I would prefer not to. So there we go, it's re-rolled. I store all my pieces in little rolls like this. It stops them from getting creased, and it means that when I want to go to stitch on them, I can just unroll the bit that I'm working on and stitch in hand from that point. So that is the method behind that. Santa's Magic. I'm sure I had started Santa's Magic last time we spoke, so this is not a new start, this is a continuation. But I have done some good progress on Santa's Magic, although there was a heart-rending moment, which I'll talk to you about once I've got it out. So there is Santa. There is Santa. Cameras are hard. There it is. So you can see I've done some work on these berries, putting in this petite treasure braid down here. All of this white, so much white. There's so much more white to do. There's a lot of white in this piece, and coming out back here as well, and starting to put some up here too. Yeah, absolutely love it. Such a good piece. There was a heartbreaking moment when I realised that all of this petite treasure braid, this gold petite treasure braid, was supposed to be white whisper braid. However, I kind of like that the outside of his sleeve is sparkly and magic. I'm leaving it for now. If I put all of the rest of it in and it looks weird, I will take it out and put whisper in. But if I put the rest of it in and it doesn't look weird and I still like it, I'll just leave it. It was a lot of petite treasure braid to stitch, and I don't want to take it out unless I absolutely have to. So he may be slightly more magic than Nora Corbett intended him to be, but my patience is only so much. This is another Zweigart. This is a 32 count Belfast, and this is colour copper kettle. Now, I have a feeling that this may be a discontinued this might be a discontinued colour. The website that I get my fabrics from occasionally, which is Willow Fabrics, which is where I tend to get my Belfasts directly from Zweigart, they do occasionally carry things that are out of stock. So yes, if you can't get hold of this, that might be why. Apologies if that is the case. Obviously Santa's Magic itself, the pattern is a Mirabilia pattern which is out of print, so it is very unlikely that you'll be able to get your hands on a copy of Santa's Magic unless you're willing to pay over the odds on eBay. I was very lucky to get hold of a copy that I did, so yeah. Sorry. So yes, the new normal is a longer pattern, which is freely available. Not freely available, you do have to pay, but it's widely available from her website. So yes, but Santa's Magic, I'm afraid, is out of print. The next pattern that I've been working on, I don't know if I have worked on this since I last saw you, but I'm going to show you anyway, is Mother Nature by Kathy Barrick. Has it progressed since I last saw you? I don't know. I'm very pleased with it, regardless. I just don't know if I've worked on it. I have a feeling it was like this last time you saw it. You'll have to tell me. Or just, be happy to have seen it. This is Mother Nature. It's by Kathy Barrick. It's a gorgeous pattern. She sits in a moon and she has lots of animals around her. I stitched it for a friend. It is on a chromatic alchemy fabric called Feronia. This is 32 count version, Belfast linen. I have substituted in a cottage garden samplings thread here for the dress, which I am quite pleased with. Yeah, I spent too much time on this because I can't remember if you've already seen all of this progress or not. So yeah, but yeah, Mother Nature. She's cute. And then we have Bullfinches. So Bullfinches is the Alpharest pattern that I cast on. Sorry, I started life as a knitter. Cast on after I finished Kingfishers. And I've made quite good progress on this one. So you can see I've got one little bullfinch. I finished off the tree that he's sitting on, and I came down here and started on this little motif. I am hoping to have this done by Christmas, but whether that's more important than the new normal remains to be seen. So yeah, that's Bullfinches. This is another chromatic alchemy fabric. Look on it. Yeah, it's called Amethyst Spirit. Now, it was a fabric of the month, so it's not available anymore. Well, I'm sure if you message Sam and say absolutely saw Amethyst Spirit and absolutely loved it, she'd be able to dye you a version of it, and it is beautiful. I have a sparkly version because I see this as kind of a Christmassy pattern. There you can see sparkle. So this is an Opal Belfast 32 count, and I just think it's going to be beautiful when I'm done. That's that one. And then I started, so obviously I have already told you that I ran out of thread for my new normal. And that's my kind of big ongoing project for this year, like the sampler that I will finish this year. It's 37,000 stitches and it will be done. So when I finished the king spool for that, I decided that I was going to wind my thread onto that king spool for next year's sampler. So this is the thread for next year's sampler. It is a Silks for You silk. It's a variegated purple. While I'm unwinding it, you can see the entire variegation on the spool. But yeah, it's a handy way for me to carry the thread for my sampler, rather than it being they come in hanks, which are really unwieldy, or balls, which are also very unwieldy for embroidery floss. This is much better. And then I thought, well, can't work on the new normal. I have many other projects I should work on, but why don't I just try this thread on the fabric that I'm planning to do my big sample for next year on, and see if I like it, because what I'm planning for next year is a very tone-on-tone sampler. So the thread is purple, the fabric is purple, and what I want to do is see if I like it, because if I don't like it, that gives me 2 months now to find a new fabric. So here is my start on the Modern Folk Embroidery 2018 Mystery Stitch Along, which is no longer a mystery because it's not 2018 anymore. So it's the one that was the season. So it was like, there'll be a picture, winter, spring, autumn, summer. If you're American and you prefer fall to autumn, Jacob did chart fall, so you can, if you must have fall, you can have fall. So here is what I have done to see if I liked this combination of thread and fabric, and I do, very much do. So you can see, I hope the camera's picking that up. I don't think it's focused quite yet. Could you focus, please? It's not going to focus. From back here you can kind of see it's this purple fabric, which is a Embroidery Fabrics. So it's called Christmas Night Sky. It was from last year. I picked it up in the sale in summer, and I got it because it has dye spots on it, which I don't know if you'd be able to see, but there are some tiny red dye spots on it, but it didn't really interfere with what I'm looking for. And it's an opal merino 32 count. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. It's very subtle, very subtle. Not a lot going on, not a lot of colour variation, which is what I wanted, because what I didn't want for a sampler with a lot of detail is a very variegated colour background. So that was what I was looking for, was a hand dyed, which was massive because this piece is massive, but not a lot of colour variegation, but interesting, and it is really interesting. The opal is really nice as well. It's a kind of bluey-greeny opal, and then this pale blue tone, which sits really nicely with the purple thread. So yes, I am very happy that the thread, there we go, you can see it now. The thread sits really well on the fabric, and it's not going to be like, oh, is there stitching on that fabric? Are you sure? I can't see it. So yeah, very happy with that. That will, once I have the thread for the new normal back, this will go away until next year, or until I finish the new normal, which could be very soon because there's only 8,000 stitches left, and that will only take me, 3 more months, hopefully 2 more months, and it'll be done by Christmas. But yes, very pleased with that little start. And that is all my projects. Let's quickly get into haul, because I have a couple of exciting things, and then I made a little mini video of my desk to show you, and then I will stop because otherwise it's going to be very long. So I got, mostly from the Knitting and Stitching Show, I got some machine embroidery thread. It was very cheap. Oh no, I dropped a tag. The dog will eat it. Go away. Bella Filipina, Temptress of the Cursed Sea. I talked about this in the video, so I won't talk about it now. I got, this is Paintbox Threads, and this is one of their inspiration packs called Hiking in the Highlands, and in it you get, and I have roundly destroyed the beautiful posing of this pack by using it. You get different fabrics and some threads. Yeah, it was beautiful. This is what I'm using the bits from for my the embroidery project that I showed you. Yeah, very pleased with that. Then I got from Serena at Hawkins Hobbies, who I ran into. I'm ordering a chatelaine kit from her, and it was nice to actually meet her in person. I got a little Provence rooster kit, which is super cute, and I'm keeping it in my back pocket for if I ever want to do a smalls exchange with someone. I will send them the Provence Rooster, which I think is adorable. I did get another Mill Hill kit, but I have already stitched it and sent it to someone, but I can't show it to you because they haven't got it yet, and I don't want to spoil the surprise. Then, also from Zarina at Hawkins Hobbies, I got a kit. Oh, I'm out of focus. Hello. I'm back. Also from Zarina at Hawkins Hobbies, I got a kit for. It's I think it's Dancer. Oh no. It's Dancer. I looked at all of the reindeer. I've been looking at them for a while, and I like. Oh, I was between two, and I sent the photos to Chris. I was like, "Which one do you prefer?" Chris preferred this one, and after looking back at them, I was like, "Yeah, no, you're right. Actually, this one's better." So it's got all of the bits in it that I need to do it. So I'll get around to it, you know, when I'm about 45. Then I got also from Paintbox Threads a thread set. I'm really excited about this. Oh, look at them. They are pearl cottons. They're glorious. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with them, but they're 12 weight cottons, so they're exactly the same as Sulky basically. And they're going into something. Not sure what yet, but have to be some project that uses all those colours because glorious. I think that's everything. I think that's my life for the last 2 weeks. Well, let me insert. Well, actually Chris will do it. But I will let Chris insert the video here because I took a fun little video of how I store all my cross stitching things, so you can see kind of how my storage. Oh no, I forgot something. I also got this, which is really fun. So this is an advent calendar of you know the labels that you get in the back of clothes. Well, these are like those, but they're like fun. They have fun slogans and things for people who make their own clothes or like quilts or knitted things. So you can put labels in your things that you've made that have little like things on them. So it's I'm going to open it. So if you have received one and you don't want to see what's inside it, just like skip forward a couple of minutes. So it's like a little. It's really cutely designed. Yes, I have opened it. That's because, well, one, my life is really stressful at the moment. I need something to look forward to. Two, it does say countdown to holidays, birthdays, or whatever. So I'm counting down to, something. And I'm really enjoying it. It's got a little Dachshund on it. Look there, Daxie. And it's great. And in my little video that I'm about to show you, I'll show you one of the tags from this. But fear not, if you're avoiding spoilers, I do say before I show it, I'm about to show it. Because I remember as I'm about to show it, that it could be a spoiler. So, yeah, it's great. And you can just buy, so labels by KATM, KATM, I don't know. So this company, do just sell these labels separately, so you don't need to buy them as part of an advent calendar. So if you're looking for something like that, labels by KATM, yeah, they're great. So, with that said, let me insert this video so you can see what my kind of sewing space looks like. Apologies for the state my desk is in. I would say it's not normally like that, but that would be a lie. So, you can have a see what kind of state I live in. Feel free to tell me how horrified you are. And I hope you enjoy seeing kind of how I store my cross stitch. How close I keep it so that I can stitch at any point. And yeah. So I have a rare bit of time where no one else is in the house, and I thought I would take you through how I store my projects and yeah, where my stuff is in my desk. So let's start there. My desk is an absolute tip, which is why I'm carefully keeping the view off the top of my desk, although, you know, there we go. That's what it looks like. That's what I'm living with. You can see there's my start on my modern folk embroidery and my floss. There's my yarn that I dyed. These are some spoilers if you've got the Labels by KTM advent calendar and you're not opening it in advance like I am. But if you're not bothered, so this is one of the days. It's a little cutie label. I think it's really cute. Here are my snips just out on the table as per usual. That is my old coffee, some mango lassi, a tissue, my sewing shears which live. So what I have in here, that is the postcard that Dee sent me, and then I have my glasses, some stickers, nail polish, my dice trays. This is some dice that I'm giving to a friend. That's my fan from summer, hand cream which I never use, my bike key which I can't use at the moment because it needs a service because the brakes are dead, a ruler, very important. This is my dice tray rolled up, it unrolls, and that's my passport, so you know, important things. Spare snips, glasses cleaning cloth. So yeah, all the important things. Masking tape. Oh, some that is a craft knife and that's a calculator for work. So yeah, just handy bits and pieces. And then in this drawer is my boxes of DMC. So I can stack 2 on top of each other in here, but at the moment I only have 3. So they're all neatly arranged in there. Look at that, beautiful. And how I keep them, so I'm doing this one-handed because I have my camera in the other hand, is that I have these plastic bobbins that sit in here, and then I have the number written on them in Sharpie, and yeah, it works very well. Those are some rolls of macrame thread because I'm trying some macrame. This is the Owl Forest thread, and then the one Kosher Garden thread I've subbed in for Bullfinches. These are the silks that I'm using for Hello from Liz Matthews, My Home in the Garden, and those are some spare plastic bobbins. So that's what lives in that drawer, all thread. And oh yeah, some more snips. These are fold-up scissors. So yeah, some more scissors because I do blunt my scissors relatively frequently. Especially when doing gold work. In here are all of my current projects, so you can see the new normal. This is my Hares Nest kit, which is the only one that's in a hoop, and it takes up way more space. That is Santa's Magic. So yeah, you can see all sorts of different things in here. What's that? That's Bullfinches. So yeah, all my projects. There's Stress Sea Dragon. That's Kathy Barrick, Mother Nature. So yeah, they're all in here. All the ones that I'm working on. So you can see, like, at any moment I can pull from this drawer the project that I want to work on. This one is wow, Tales from the Sea, Fragments in Time. I'm working on. That's a Night Spirit Studio. So yeah, you can see they're all in there, and I can pull them out. I'll put the Hares Nest back in a minute because it's a little bit more faffy. And then down in there are my patterns, and I'm not worried about that Mirabilia pattern. That is Santa's Magic, but it's the first page, and if you can manage to stitch the entirety of Santa's Magic from that page, you know, more power to you. So you can see underneath I have lots of different patterns. So that's a Lavender in Lace, Bella Filipina. Yeah, this is a new one. So I presume I showed you this in the rest of the Flosstube, but Temperatures of the Cursed Sea. She is the one, well, I say she, I think, I mean, look at the definition on that face. I think that is a very trans mermaid. So she could use she, her pronouns. But anyway, this is the one that they charted with 5 different skin options, which is why I've bought this pattern. Also, I mean, I really like it. I've got some fabric coming from Pole Stitches to do this. I think it's really cool. But yeah, I want to support the fact that they charted it with multiple different skin coloration options. I think it's really fantastic, and the packaging on this is really fancy. So the packaging is really sticky, so just beware of that if you take it out and want to put it back in the plastic. It's sticky and it may damage your pattern. As you can see, it pulls some of the colour off there. But look at that shine. Beautiful. So yeah, that's a Bella Filipina. That's my hare's nest. Some more cottage garden threads here. And then I've got some fabrics that are kind of things that I tend to work on really recently. This is, looks ominous, doesn't it? It is Water-Soluble Stabilizer. So this is something that I'm using for some of my more freestyle embroidery projects from a technique that I picked up at the Knitting and Stitching show. So yes, I will be working more with this once my sewing machine stops being a friggin' nightmare and skipping stitches when I'm doing freehand machine embroidery, which is a bit of an issue at the moment. And then in the bottom drawer is, well, thread. Lots of thread. So these are some silks for you thread. They come in hanks, and then I've wound this one into a ball because it was my own fault. I started winding it onto this is a silky king spool that I was using for the new normal, and I finished the king spool and I was like, well, I'll just wind some of this silk off onto it, and I didn't. I should have put it on I have a Swift winding yarn and should have put it onto my Swift, and I did not put it onto my Swift, and then I made a mess, so then I had to wind the whole thing into this ball. So next time I'll be putting them onto my Swift before I start winding them. Apologies, I keep getting my foot in frame. And then this is spare DMC, so anything where I've got two of the same colour because I haven't, checked properly before I bought it, or it came in a kit and I already had one. These are remnants from Royal Queens, the Mirabilia one that I just did, Royal Games. This is from my Classic Colourworks Thread Club. And then you can see, so I've got more Cottage Garden threads from my Thread Club, more Classic Colourworks from my Thread Club. I have these thread drops. I've got a lot of them, but they're quite useful for occasionally when I do need things that are become in packs and I want to put them on thread drops. That is from a secret thing. That is from a secret Mill Hill kit I made for someone and sent to them, and it hasn't arrived yet, so I can't. It took me 2 evenings and I stitched it, and I cannot show you the picture yet, even though it's amazing, because it hasn't got to them yet. So, remains a secret. But yeah, you can see treasures there for Princess Eliana, so I haven't got around to that yet because I'm still doing the stitching. So yeah, just bits and bobs of things that I will get to. These are my silks from somebody. Who sent these? Who are these by? She's a very famous Flosstuber, and she does really tiny stitches. Almond M&Ms. Yeah, so these are almond M&Ms silks with some DMC Etoile in there as well. That's for when I eventually get to my unicorn on Dee's pattern. So, oh, it's like a minefield of guess who. This is what living with me is like. It's like you know that person who was in that film, the film that had the tower. I'm just giving you an example. I'm not trying to guess you to guess a specific film. Don't try and that was just random. There's no tower. I'm just giving you an example of what living with me is like. It's like a guessing game the whole time. Anyway, I'm going to put all that stuff away now and insert this into my video so you can see what my desk is like. But yeah, so it's really handy. I have all my stuff here all the time, and it's great. I really like it. So apart from the fact that I can't find some of my Alforest threads that I know I have, so I can't find my Geese and Sunflowers threads, which is really irritating because I know I bought them, but at this rate I'm going to have to buy them again. So we'll see, they'll turn up. But yeah, this drawer is a bit of a liability because the dog thinks that anything at ground level is his. So anything that's poking out here, he'll grab and run away with. So I have had to go and retrieve occasionally a couple of plastic bags from him, but because everything is in plastic bags, it hasn't been too much of an issue. And you can see down there, that's his his pet balloon. It's a thing that goes around a balloon. He can chuck it around. And then that's a little ghost that came in a Halloween box for him. So you can see he definitely does play around my desk. So nice to see you all. See you all soon.